From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, Alaska State Troopers are still attempting to recover the body of a Delta Junction man who was killed in an avalanche on Saturday.
The man has been tentatively identified as 35-year-old Eric Peterson. Troopers have been unable to recover his body due to weather conditions in the Rainbow Mountains.
Peterson was skiing with 63-year-old Michael Hopper of Fairbanks when the avalanche occurred. Hopper was able to dig himself out of the snow after 2 to 3 hours. He then found the other man's glove, dug down in the snow, and then he found the body.
Troopers, Fort Greely Fire Department, Rural Delta Fire and Rescue, and Black Rapids military teams responded to the area. Now we spoke to a passerby who was flagged down by Hopper after the avalanche.
His vehicle had been parked. There's a large pull-off there on the road, and his vehicle was parked there, and I guess he was locked out, and he was just kind of pacing back and forth. After that, we were talking, and thankfully another vehicle was coming from the opposite direction. So we were able to flag that vehicle down, and then I left the scene.
Alaska State Troopers say one man is dead after a two-vehicle collision on Chena Hot Springs Road near Nichols Lane yesterday. Now, according to a release, 52-year-old David Haas of North Pole was driving approximately 80 miles per hour when he lost control and slid into the westbound lane. Haas struck an oncoming vehicle driven by 53-year-old James Graham of Clear. Graham sustained only minor injuries in the accident. Now, Haas was pronounced dead upon EMS arrival. Troopers say he was not wearing his seatbelt at the time of the accident, and an investigation is ongoing.
Since the beginning of November, we have had 7 fatal wrecks in the Fairbanks area, and almost half of them, if not half of them, have involved people not wearing their seatbelts. There's also been other factors such as the roads have been icy, people have been traveling too fast, some have suspected alcohol involved, but really what's very troubling about these is just wearing your seatbelt can increase your chances of survival in a wreck by so much.
A North Pole family escaped injury Saturday afternoon after their trailer home caught fire. The North Star Volunteer Fire Department responded to a reported structure fire at 1719 Coachman Lane just after 1 o'clock. Firefighters knocked down flames that had originated near the chimney of the 14-by-70 trailer home. Though damage was confined to the back half of the structure, the trailer was declared a complete loss. North Star Deputy Fire Chief David Daniel said there were no injuries associated with the blaze.
Stated he had a little chimney fire, he had a wood stove in there, and he actually heard it start creeping from up into the ceiling, so he called 911 right away and got himself and the dog out. His wife was already out, so everybody was outside of the structure. And we did get Red Cross coming out to help support them with somewhere to stay tonight and get them set up for whatever they need.
A Fairbanks man accused of attacking another man with a machete pleaded guilty to reduce charges today. 32-year-old Silfiano Lucas was charged with first-degree felony assault. Today he pleaded guilty to a single count of third-degree felony assault and violating conditions of release as part of a plea deal. Lucas was sentenced to 360 days suspended and ordered to pay restitution to the victim. The machete used in the attack was forfeited to authorities.
A North Pole teen is in jail after allegedly stealing a 15-passenger church van over the weekend. 19-year-old Sean Kirkvold is facing charges of vehicle theft, criminal mischief, and resisting arrest in connection with the December 5th incident. An affidavit states Kirkvold was pulled over by troopers in the McGrath Road Baptist Church van. The vehicle had been hot-wired and started with a screwdriver. In addition, Kirkvold had used a razor blade to remove the church's sign from the van. Troopers also said Kirkvold was in possession of methamphetamine at the time of his arrest. He was arraigned Saturday in Fairbanks District Court.
All right, well, when we come back, residents along Badger Road in North Pole hope new special signs will make safer conditions.
Also, a local miner has come up with an idea that could result in cleaner air for the community. Those stories are next. Stay with us.
Welcome back. A new violence prevention plan called Green Dot has kicked off in Fairbanks. Katie Looper has details in this report.
Violence is happening. We know that people are getting hurt here, but we just keep hearing numbers.
In an effort to decrease violence in our community, Fairbanks has adopted a nationally recognized violence prevention program developed by Dr. Dorothy Edwards.
So I've been in law enforcement for over 20 years, and in that time I've seen a lot of the devastation that's caused by interpersonal violence. The same things I was dealing with at the beginning of my law enforcement career are the same things I'm dealing with today.
Red dots on the map of Alaska would represent all the instances in which someone chose to harm another person. The strategy of the program is to change those red dots into green ones that represent a choice to intervene.
Historically, we have looked at interpersonal violence and put people in two categories, right? The perpetrator and the victim. The reality is there's another party there. It's the bystander.
Proactive green dot users can either address the situation directly, delegate the issue to someone else, or distract by creating a diversion that interrupts a red dot choice.
We're going to change the culture when everybody says, I can do my part, I can do this, and I don't want violence to be tolerated in this community anymore.
Green Dot Alaska and the Interior Alaska Center for Nonviolent Living encourage community groups, business owners, and individuals to get involved in making a conscious choice to decrease violence in our community. This is Katie Luper reporting.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says Noble Drilling Company has agreed to plead guilty to 8 felonies and pay $12 million in fines for breaking Alaska maritime laws in 2012. Noble was under contract to do offshore drilling work for Shell Oil Company at the time the reported offenses occurred. Noble was operating the Noble Discoverer and the Culloch drilling platform. According to court records, the Noble Discoverer had to undergo extensive repairs after a Coast Guard inspection, and the Culloch broke free from its mooring and ran aground. Noble will also be placed on corporate probation for 4 years, during which its operations will be monitored.
Last July, officials with the Alaska Department of Transportation met with the Interior State Legislative delegation and a group of residents who were concerned with safety on Badger Road. The meeting resulted in a proposed study of the corridor, which will help identify any major safety issues with the road. In the meantime, DOT has installed 2 vehicle speed display signs on Badger, one near Rep Road and one near Lacklowy Drive. The signs display the current speed of the oncoming vehicles and alert drivers that are going above the posted speed limit. DOT spokeswoman Meadow Bailey says these signs are a quick, cost-effective method the department can use to urge motorists to slow down.
Met with the community, we met with legislators, and one of the requests that they had was whatever we could do to help persuade people to stop speeding or make them more aware of the speed that they were going. That was one of the reported problems, is people just tend to go too fast on that road.
A Fairbanks man has been watching and listening to reports on air pollution and laws being proposed to help fix the problem. Kevin Bergman has been a miner for 30 years and works in the Esther area. In his mining operation, he has to follow state and federal laws to make sure his claim doesn't pollute the land or water. He says that while working on one particular project, he found a side effect that could be a major step towards stopping local air pollution. Bergman says he has developed a system that recovers the chemicals and particulate materials from pollution generated by heat and power sources. He says that testing shows his system works on burning wood, coal, diesel, and other fuels.
Well, we're hoping to not only clean up emissions, but extract valuable commodities that will allow us to economically assist the person needing this done. So we'll be able to collect not only your particulate matter, your chemicals, your waste products, but we'll have valuable products in that collection that we can refine and subsidize the cost of this removal.
So let's address this wonderful decoration.
Oh, it's very lovely. We're dressed for the holidays now.
Yes, we're so excited. They came and decorated for us today. So
very nice.
We're very festive.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Joe Cook is up next with your weekend recap and in sports, which includes Nanook hockey and some championship results in high school sports.
Joe Cook is next. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with another weekend recap. The Nanook shook the college hockey world a bit with a 5-4 overtime victory over the second-ranked team in the country on Friday night. On Saturday, UAF, though they were unable to carry the momentum for a sweep, the Minnesota State Mavericks used a 3-goal third period to pull away from the Nanooks with a 5-2 win. Nolan Youngman, he made his return with a goal halfway through the second period to make it a 1-2 game. And then Tyler Morley's equalizer came on a power play to end the second period, but Dylan Maganari had the hat trick for the Mavs. His second tally of the game sparked the Mavs' 3-0 run. It's the third straight series split for the Nanooks. Crazy stat here. Alaska hasn't won on a Saturday night since October 18th. UAF is 8-8 overall and 3-7 in the WCHA, which is tied for 6th place. To sum it up in the simplest way, it was a good weekend for the Nanook swim team after 3 days of competition in Federal Way, Washington at the 66th Annual Husky Invitational. The Nanook swim team won the Collegiate Women's Team High Point Award for the second year in a row. UAF's 850 points was the top score for any women's college team at the Invitational. Freshman Martha Hood won the overall individual High Point Award after scoring the most points. It's the first ever individual title for UAF at this event. Teammate Margot Adams was runner-up. Alaska set 2 school records in the 200 medley and 100 breaststroke, made 18 NCAA provisional qualifying times, and set 33 personal records. UAF finished with top 10 national times in 6 different events: the 200 medley and 400 medley relays, the 200 freestyle relay, the 100 breast, 100 fly, and 50 free. UAF will have a long break before competing again in January 4th, 2015. After Saturday's game, the UAF basketball teams went over in their first GNAC games. Jordan Wilson tied a career high with 28 points, but the women's team lost to MSUB 71-61. Alaska is 6-4 and 0-2 in the GNAC. The men's team came back from a 13-point deficit in the second half, but St. Martin's held on for a 67-64 win. Ashton Edwards led the Nooks with 13 points, and Ruben Silvas added 12 and 9 boards. The women's team has a bye this week, while the men's team will go to Anchorage for this weekend's AT&T Jamboree. Fairbanks Ice Dogs and Wenatchee Wild are even Stevens after 8 games. The Wild clinched this weekend's series with a 3-2 shutout decision on Saturday night. Wenatchee also won the last series 2-1. Fairbanks swept the Wild in their first meeting. Stevie Bryant provided the game winner for the Wild. Chandler Maudry scored in the second period and was the only Ice Dog to score in the shootout. The Ice Dogs are now 18-8-3 on the year. Fairbanks will visit the Minnesota Magicians this weekend. The 2014 Mid-Alaska Rifle Championships were on the line this past weekend. Lathrop made history, winning both air rifle and small bore for the MAC sweep. It's the first time Lathrop won both titles. Hutchinson was the runner-up in small bore, while Delta Junction placed third. Delta was also second in air rifle, followed by Hutch in third place. The shooters put up a combined 15 personal bests, 6 in air rifle and 9 in small bore amongst all the teams there. Hutchinson's Amy Gentry won the small bore title. Lathrop went 2-3 in small bore with J.T. Sneering and Connor Gilliam. The Mutes went 1-2 in air rifle as Sneering won that title, and Melinda Mellifant finished second.
I was pretty happy. I'm definitely happy with my team. It was tough this year. A bunch of new teams picked up their game, and, well, it was fun. It was fun finishing out with a bang.
I wasn't really expecting to win. I just kind of was like, I just want to do my best and just trying to be as relaxed as possible and just do what I do.
I think we've gotten better because we encourage each other. We push each other to push their limits and beat their best.
And win the weekend recap with this week's I-5 Interior Top 5 plays. Check them out.
At number 5, check out Monroe Rams junior defenseman Mike Coyley's 2 goals from distance in the Rams' 5-0 win over Hutch on Thursday. At number 4, more from that Monroe and Hutch game. Rams goalie Nate Jankowski makes 16 saves, shutting out the Hawks. It's his 3rd shutout of the year. Coming in at number 3, Kai Pierce, Monroe's only wrestler this season, comes back from 9 points down with less than a minute left to pin Allison's Jonathan St. Andre and win the Denali Conference 113-pound title. Number 2, 2 titles for the Lathrop Malamutes. Lathrop sweeps the MAC Rifle Championships, winning small bore and air rifle. J.T. Sneering won air rifle and was runner-up in small bore to lead the Mutes. At number 1, freshman Austin V takes down the number 2 team in the nation with his overtime game-winning goal against the Minnesota State Mavericks. Former Ice Dog Taylor Munson with the assist on the game-winning play, and UAF wins 5-4 over the number 2 Mavericks on Friday night. To vote for the play of the week, click on your play on the I-5 poll on Webster11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube post, and send a tweet to KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The play of the week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that'll do it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, hope you had yourself a good weekend. Mike Schultz back with you once again on the Fairbanks Evening News, talking about weather. And we're looking at maybe a few snow showers here and there, but no real organized systems. It's kind of chilly out there. I was out there earlier this evening and the wind is blowing, so it definitely makes it feel quite cold. Look at this nice photograph sent in by Dina Cannon, a little Christmas tree out in the forest there by itself. And nice colors, of course, beautiful. And I'd like to invite you, if you have Christmas photographs to share, send them to photos at KTVF11.com, and we'll share them with the rest of the audience and get everybody in that Christmas spirit. Here's what's going on as far as our numbers. Right now, 13 degrees after a high of 14. The low last night, 5. Record high, 1934, 55 degrees. 1 year later, 53 below for the record low. Sunrise and sunset, 4 hours and 5 minutes. A loss of 4 minutes from yesterday. Our satellite radar showing a little bit of moisture trying to work its way in from the southeast, moving across the Fairbanks area. Most of it staying down south of the Alaska Range, but some of this might work its way in and give us a few flurries tomorrow. That's about it. Elsewhere across the state, we're looking over southeast Alaska and looking at quite a bit of rainfall around Juneau and Ketchikan. Not a bad day in Anchorage, just mainly cloudy skies, some showers around the Kodiak region. Up and down the west coast, looking at 21 degrees at Nome, and then moving to the north slope, 9 below at Barrow with cloudy skies, also cloudy skies at Fort Yukon, and 2 degrees. Lower 48 weather, more rain moving across the Pacific Northwest. That's about where it falls. It stops there because down over California, things are once again drying out. Across the Central Plains, not too bad of weather. Big winter storm developing over the northeast. In fact, that shows up really good on the satellite and radar. You can see the circulation starting to develop here. That's going to bring in lots of rain up and down the eastern seaboard, and as you move inland, colder air will move in, turning it over to snow. While out to the west, looking at more rain moving across the Pacific Northwest, things are drying out across Southern California. And the overall outlook for this storm, you can see a mix of weather, snow and mix of rain and snow, and then strong winds and heavy rain up and down the eastern seaboard. And the overall outlook for later on this week for the jet stream way up to the north, which means mild temperatures all the way up to the border, and then rain over the Pacific Northwest right on down into California, helping the drought situation there a little bit. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies and fog at Barrow. Windy conditions at Nome and snow showers around the Fort Yukon area. Over southeast Alaska, or I should say south central sections, interior, flurries and scattered snow showers for Fairbanks, Healy, and Delta Junction. And the rains will be falling continually across southeast Alaska with even some strong winds around Ketchikan. A temperature of about 46 degrees, so pretty warm wind. Over the southwest part of the state, rain showers for Cold Bay, cloudy at Bethel, and rain at Kodiak Island. And over the interior south central sections, cloudy skies with rain and snow showers at Anchorage and rain at Valdez and Homer. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. A new week and a new school. And this week we're going to be talking with the kids from Nordale Elementary School. Here's a young man that starts off with a story about a storm, and we'll pick it up there.
Later that night, the wind had picked up to about 70 miles per hour. I went to sleep hoping a tree wouldn't fall on my house. At 11 p.m. that night, I went into the living room and looked out the window to see part of an about 8-foot tree leaning against my dad's truck. Luckily, there was no damage. A power outage put us without electricity for a week.
We're glad he didn't get hurt. And as always, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, a young lady will be here to share a picture that she drew. Here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 4 degrees, the overnight low, cloudy and quite chilly, especially in the windy areas. Tomorrow's forecast may see a few isolated flurries and gusty winds once again at the higher elevations, 13 degrees for the high temperature. The extended forecast, as you can see, your temperatures once again cooling down, maybe a little bit of snow shower activity for Wednesday and Thursday, then mainly cloudy skies after that. Overnight lows will also be very warm for this time of year, in the single digits below when they normally should be like about 12 degrees below zero. And you are definitely getting in the Christmas spirit. Good for you.
I have it.
Why not?
It's contagious.
You saw my picture. I had
Do
a
you
Christmas
feel it?
tree. I had a Christmas tree.
Do you feel the Christmas spirit?
Not quite.
Not yet.
Yeah, but some a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
When I get my
It's
credit
December,
card bill, I'll feel the Christmas spirit.
Absolutely.
Well, I do, and very nice job to our general manager, Dee Dee,
Very nice.
and Brittany. They came by and they decorated our set so nice.
Very nice.
Very nice, yeah.
And your hat looks nice too.
Aw, thanks.
And my closing credits will be also very much of the Christmas
Okay,
spirit.
So you
let's
are in
get
the
to that
Christmas
then.
spirit.
Yeah, that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, a magical trip offers sick kids some holiday cheer and joy. That's next with Brian Williams.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webster11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.